What's up, guys? So I wanted to show you guys Stenocereus queretaraensis flowers. Right now is what time is it? It's probably it's 8 o'clock. So they are just starting to open right now, and right now is the perfect time to collect pollen before moths or anything else comes. Technically, in Los Angeles, we have like 5 or 6 species of bats, but I don't think they're gonna I don't think they'll visit this. I don't think the cactus is tall enough for them to see it. But I think the bees in the morning will totally take all the pollen. So right now is a perfect time. You want to collect the pollen, and you see the stigma, which is right in the middle, looks like a little brush, is still closed. In the morning, it should be fully open and ready to accept pollen. So I will pollinate these in the night and then try to add more pollen later in the morning. But these will be full of bees in the morning here. I get a good amount of bees here. So I'm not going to do any specific hybrid. I just want to pollinate these for fruit. This queretaraensis produces orange pulp, pitayas. Pitaya is a name used for fruit from Stenocereus cacti. But for some reason, other countries aside from Mexico use it to call dragon fruit pitayas. In Mexico, they call dragon fruit pitahaya, and they call the fruit from Stenocereus pitayas. So, to avoid confusion with other cultures and people used to calling dragon fruit pitayas, I like to refer to the pitayas as Mexican pitayas. And yeah, anyways, so I'm excited to get these pollinated. I have a friend that has pollen too, so I'm gonna hit him up right now, try to see who else has pollen right now. I'm gonna stop the video right now, and I'll continue as I go search for some pollen. Even though I do have one pollen source here. Let me see. But last year it seemed to not have taken this pollen too well. It wasn't 100% success rate. See, this flower is gonna open soon. It opens a little later than the queretaraensis. This is a griseus, or now it's known as huastecorum. So it didn't want to take this particular pollen too great, but this is another similar one, and this one 100% success rate for the cross-pollination. This is another huastecorum, and I have a few of these, but this one not so much. So I'm gonna go hit up some friends. I'm a diehard pitaya fanatic, so I really want fruit, so I will call up some friends and go to their house to exchange pollen with them so that we both get fruit. The mission continues. So there's a change of plans. My two friends, they don't have any flowers open, but I found this huastecorum, which is a really good pollen source. Last year it was like 100% success rate. Look at this. We have a flower opening up. It's not fully open. I'm gonna wait another hour, wait for it to open up a little more, and then I'll cross-pollinate this one with queretaraensis. Yeah, I'm excited for this. So it'll still be part of the same video. I'm gonna stop the video now, and I'll start recording again when I'm cross-pollinating. Okay, about half hour has passed, and this flower has opened up a little more. So at this time, I'm going to collect the pollen. So how I collect pollen, sorry, I don't have a helper here. I like to put this, I like these little metal tins. I put it under the flower like this, and then I just shake things up. I shake up the anthers up here with my brush. I swear I'm getting a better phone soon, and everything will be a lot sharper. Or I'll use my wife's camera. She has a nice little camera. So there, it looks pretty good. So I'll go ahead and brush. You probably can't see that good, but there's some pollen coming out. Yep. You know what? It's not enough yet. There's a few specks of pollen, but it's not that much. I think I might have to wait a little longer. Let the anthers burst and release a little more pollen. There isn't that much. There's very little. You see the little powder. It's not that much. So I'm actually gonna come back a little later. Yeah. Okay, here I go again. Trying to collect some pollen. Oh, this is ready. See, I think that the anthers hold on to the pollen and then they burst, and you totally see the powder coming out now. Oh, it's flying out. Yeah, the pollen is flying crazy. So I'm gonna collect as much as I can. That's enough though. You can see the pollen here. All that little powder. That's the gold right there. Let me set this down. So you can see I'm moving around the pollen there. So this is all pollen, all the little powder you see. You could consider this kind of, I guess you could consider this kind of like sperm or something. And you use this to fertilize the female part of the Stenocereus, the flower. So now I'm walking to the backyard where I have my Querétaroensis. Please hold. Okay, so I'm back. So these are my 3 Querétaroensis, the Stenocereus Querétaroensis flowers that are fully open. Now what you want to do when you cross-pollinate, I have some pollen in here already from the Huastecorum, is what you want to do is you want to put it in the stigma, which is this part right here. But there's a hole in the middle of the stigma. Sometimes they're not open and you gotta kind of pry it open. You could tap it around, you could try to smash it a little bit. You don't have to be too gentle. It's a pretty tough part of the flower. You could use your fingers too. Let me try it on this one. Okay, so I'm just smashing it down a little bit. And you can see, let me just try to, so yeah, there's like a little hole. Let me try to zoom in. I swear I need a better camera. There's a little hole right in the middle, and that's where you got to put the pollen. See if you can see it. Well, you're right there. So you aim right for the middle, right here. So that's when you want to put pollen. Let me get some pollen here. and rub it all over the stigma. I like to do the little twisting motion here just to make sure the stigma, the pollen that's in the tip of the brush gets everywhere in the stigma. That's pretty much it. Let me get some more pollen here. So that's pretty much it. That's what you got to do to pollinate your Stenocereus so you get pitayas. If you don't do this, you could probably be lucky in some moths or some bees. Maybe even if you get bats, they'll come here and do this for you. Let me do it to this one now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not keeping track of this hybrid, of this cross-pollination. If I was going to grow the seeds and I want to make sure it was a certain type of hybrid, I would put a bag. I would put a bag on top of the flower before it opened. Then I would remove it once it was open, and then I would apply the other pollen from whatever I wanted to hybridize the cactus with. Then I would cover the pollen again, the flower. I would cover the flower again, and if it sets fruit, then for sure it's a hybrid, and you know it doesn't have pollen that a bee or a moth brought to, or a hummingbird brought to this flower. And then it would suck if you leave it open and you cross it the way I just did and leave the flower open, and then a hummingbird comes and puts pollen from some other cactus you don't like, and you get a hybrid that you're not really expecting, and you'd probably be excited thinking you have a certain type of hybrid and you don't. So yeah, so aside from hybrid talk, this is how you set fruit. And I need to cross-pollinate this one too. And that's it, guys. Okay, guys, so here's that one Stenocereus flower that I told you that opens really late. Yeah, it's still not fully open, but it's getting there. And I think it's big enough I could collect some pollen from. Oh yeah, look at all that pollen. Let's see if you can see it here. You see the pollen flying away? Look at that. So I didn't have 100% success rate with this pollen with my Querétaroensis, but I'm still gonna try. I did have some success, so I'm gonna try to collect some of this pollen. It's kind of hard for me to do it with the camera, but I'll collect some and then start recording again. Okay, so I collected pollen from that one Stenocereus, and I'll go ahead and try brushing it on here too, just as a backup pollen source. If the Huastecorum doesn't pollinate it, then you know, maybe this one will. And then I'll collect some pollen here and pollinate the Huastecorum and that other Stenocereus I have there. I believe they're both Huastecorum, even though one of them was sold to me as Griseus. Anyways, so that's how you try to ensure fruit. I mean, if you don't pollinate them yourself, you risk your flowers not being pollinated and them falling down. And just like the lottery, you can't win if you don't play, you know? I mean, you know, you could take your chances. Maybe a hummingbird, a bat, a bee, moth. Maybe they will pollinate your cacti, but it's kind of a long shot. Sometimes the bees will stop at many other plants that are not cacti or doesn't have compatible pollen that would pollinate your Stenocereus. So that's why you won't get fruit. Even if you see all these bees, you see 20, 30 bees on your flowers, there is a very high possibility you still will not get fruit, unless you have a really big cactus garden with many, many flowers open. Then maybe the bees have easy access to visit other cactus flowers, and then your Stenocereus, and then one of those pollen sources would most likely be compatible. I have a few that are compatible from what I've tried. I've tried Pollinating. They don't work on this Stenocereus. But yeah, I'll do a follow-up video on these exact 3 flowers to see if they both stuck or not. So I brushed them twice, Huasticorum and some other Stenocereus flower pollen. So we'll see. I'll do a follow-up video, maybe like 2 weeks. So unlike other Stenocereus, some are different with the buds once they start to dry up. When these are pollinated, this part will start to get fat, and the dried up flower will just start to dry up, and it stays on the pitaya, on the fruit. Other ones like Griseus and Huasticorum too. Well, there's a few other ones which, if it's not pollinated, the whole thing falls off, and if it is pollinated, then this falls off, but this stays on. Let me show you really quick so you can see. Okay, guys. So all I wanted to show you before I left or went to bed for today. So like I said about how the buds fall off. So this flower opened on this Huasticorum, just like this one opened, and then the flower fell off. So you can see here, the flower fell, but the part that becomes fruit remains, and this is what grows into fruit. So this tells me that this was pollinated. If the flower was not pollinated, the whole thing falls off. From here to here, everything will fall off. Well, I should use this flower. Everything would fall off. But the flower fell off, but not the base of it, which is what becomes fruit. On the Querétaroensis, the flower part never falls off. It just it stays attached. It just dries up. It's pretty weird, but that's a unique thing about the Querétaroensis. And different cacti do different things. Anyways, like, share, subscribe, and happy cactusing, guys. Talk to you guys later.